Hey, what's good, guys? Once again, I have another incredible vegan Reddit story for you. And this one takes place around a famous holiday, one that would absolutely strike controversy in the vegan community quite often. And you guessed it, I'm talking about Thanksgiving, or like Turkey Holocaust Day, as vegan teacher Tosh Peterson would probably refer to it as.
Are you celebrating Christmas with a Holocaust?
As well as this vegan individual who we will be discussing today. So, the relationship. This vegan is the daughter-in-law of an individual, the original poster of this Reddit, and the gist of this story is the mother involved was hosting a Thanksgiving get-together where they have a very extensive menu that includes many vegan options on top, of course, the non-vegan options. And as your typical annoying, ethical, philosophical vegan asshole, she still had issue with this, thinking to herself and portraying this idea to the mother that this Thanksgiving should have no meat, no non-vegan options at all. And of course, the mother here politely declined that request, and the daughter-in-law here was not happy about it. She decided to get extremely petty and make her own food equivalent one-to-one to everything that the mother made except all vegan, and then brought it to the Thanksgiving. And during this entire time, she made snarky remarks, comments, faces, expressions, multiple digs at the mother to try and make her feel like she was less than her. Now, before we get into this, by a show of hands, how many of you guys, put your fucking hand down, how many of you guys are surprised that this crybaby vegan is acting this way? Like I said, put your goddamn hand down, all right? If you put it up, you're lying to yourself. You're not surprised. We're not surprised. None of us are surprised, all right? This is expected. So this story is quite lengthy, so I'm going to try my best to not do too many interruptions throughout so we can get through it. Otherwise, it's going to be a long-ass video. Unless, of course, you are into that sort of thing. You want these videos to be longer. Put that in the comments. Just let me know what works for y'all, and I'll make it happen. Am I the asshole for having kicked my daughter-in-law out of my Thanksgiving meal after her vegan feast fiasco? And this title already sounds like a total banger. My daughter, 21, lives with us while finishing college. My son, 27, lives in the same city, and I babysit his children, who are 3 and 4 years old, so we are bubbled. My sister, who drove 3 hours with her husband and son to come and see us, has been taking extra precautions prior to this event. Everyone was safe. Daughter-in-law and I don't get along for many reasons I won't go into. She's also just one of those condescending people who thinks that constantly looking down on others, especially because of her veganism, is a good thing. Last Thanksgiving, she raised hell over me making a turkey. She claimed there weren't really any vegan options. There were. And you'll see shortly, guys, there are a lot of vegan options. They don't describe it right away, but in the edits they do, so it'll be a second till we get to, them kind of describing it in detail. But until then, hang on tight. Last week, daughter-in-law contacts me on Facebook asking me for the menu, and then telling me what will and won't work. Now this, I have to comment. This is so entitled to, first off, ask, I get it, you have your dietary restrictions, you want to make sure that there's food for you. So asking, hey, what's on the menu is not necessarily a rude thing. I think depending on how you ask it, I think it's different if you ask this person like, hey, I'm vegan, I just want to make sure that there's some options for me. If not, I could bring my own. Do you mind telling me if there are going to be vegan options? Something like that, being polite and cordial as you would hope. But of course, as a staunch vegan like this person, being kind is never at the forefront of their activity. And then she has the nerve, the audacity really, to even try to tell this mother here what will and won't work. Like you have the right to decide that your dietary choices has the right to decide what everybody at this Thanksgiving gathering gets to eat. That sort of level of entitlement and narcissism is very prevalent throughout this staunch vegan community. It's something you're gonna see a lot when I cover these Reddit threads. It's really incredible, truly. She also sent me many replication recipes to make for her, with expensive specialty items in all of them. Many I didn't even know what they were. This annoyed me because I had already made sure to give my son, her, and her kids vegan options for the day. But it wasn't good enough. I finally just told her to go pound sand and that she could bring up her own dish for her family if she'd be that picky. Thanksgiving happens. They arrive late with a ton of food dishes, parading them in, all with this vindictive grin on her face. Turns out, she, out of spite, took the exact menu and made her own version of every single dish. Needless to say, I was livid, but I held my tongue. My sister and daughter in particular did try the food and enjoy it. Every time they complimented her, she would give me this look as she perceived her thanks, before tacking on something like, I just wanted to make a Thanksgiving meal that everyone could enjoy. Now, this is a level of pettiness that even my wife would be impressed by, and I say that because my wife is proudly a petty individual, and she's gonna watch this video and she's not gonna hit me for saying that, trust me. But this is extreme pettiness. This is incredible. I can't even fathom this idea of being so entitled, so absolved in your self-worth and your veganism, your personal lifestyle decision, that you think that no matter what, you are going to force everybody else to partake in it, even when the vast majority of people involved have nothing to do with it. They don't want anything to do with it. They are happy eating their omnivorous foods. You doing this is so disrespectful, it's uncalled for, and it's extremely bratty. And guys, this story only gets worse because you would think perhaps maybe the son here would be a rational individual and maybe see his mother's point of view, but he doesn't. He takes the side of his wife, which I found to be the most disappointing thing in this entire story. The part where I finally snapped was at dessert. We have a family tradition where right before we sit down and say what we're thankful for, it's usually for family or being able to gather, when at her turn, she got the same smug, vindictive grin on her face, and in the most condescending way said, I'm thankful for starting the new tradition of a cruelty-free, inclusive Thanksgiving, and I hope it continues next year. Reddit, I saw red. I waited until my turn and then said, as calmly as I could, that I was thankful that this would be the last Thanksgiving I'd be spending with her. Whew. That one cannot go uncommented on. I apologize, but I'm not that petty. I can be a little bit. I'm generally not a petty person. I would think that thought. I wouldn't say it out loud because I wouldn't want to stir up too much controversy around people. I would tell her this at a later time, you know, probably afterwards, like, hey, don't come to the next Thanksgiving. You're not invited. I don't want you here. Like, you suck. Do not come. I don't care. But I would not say that in front of everybody like that. I would save her the dignity because that is embarrassing. That is cold. Anyway, let's continue. It took them a moment to catch on, and soon enough, nasty words were being exchanged on both sides. I finally kicked them out. I didn't think about it until this evening, when my son sent me a text telling me that he would not be letting his children come over until I personally apologized to his wife. He said that while he sees my side, she didn't mean it, and that I took it way too far by publicly embarrassing her. And she spent so much time making food for everyone. My husband is telling me I should just apologize because it was rude of me and it wasn't worth it. He doesn't really get why it hurt me so much that she copied my meal to one-up me and thinks the more food, the merrier. Am I the asshole here? Let me know. Now, guys, there's way more to this. There's a couple of edits. We'll get to those shortly, but I do need to say my piece about this. I think threatening to not let your children come over some stupid shit like this is, again, extremely petty. Also, you'll find out later that the reason the kids even come over so much is because the mother here is free childcare. Yeah, she watches their kids out of the goodness of her heart so that they can, you know, go to work and do other things. So it's kind of a weird, you know, point of view to be like, hey, we're gonna take away the service that you have been providing for us for our benefits, you harpy. Like, that is wild. And it also just shows the entitlement of both the son here and his wife. I would not want that mother to apologize. I mean, yeah, maybe she shouldn't have said it, like, you know, out in the open, but she said what she should have said at some point. Maybe not there, but the truth is, this vegan wife here had it coming. She was being extremely disrespectful, nasty, snarky, vindictive. and just an extremely unpleasant, entitled individual. And these people need to be humbled. They need to have reality smacked across their faces so they can see themselves for the narcissistic assholes they really are. And that's precisely what the mother has done here. And personally, I would give her a golden star of approval for what she's done. But what do you guys think? Do you think she went too far by doing that? Let me know in the comments. We're going to continue with the edit. Edits. I absolutely had vegan options for them to begin with. I had an entree for them, plus some backup nuggets for the kids, a few side dishes, most are vegan with non-vegan add-ons, and a dessert that I made. She told me that those were fine, but the other entrees wouldn't work, and that I needed to make them all vegan. It wasn't a request to make something in particular, it was a demand that I redo everything. My son let it slip that she spent hundreds of dollars on the food to make what she did, and he seemed to blame me for that. And I'll go into detail on this later, but God, do I not like the son. Another note is that although the threat of the grandchildren hurts every time, it isn't the first time. Last time she made it 2 weeks and gave in, because they rely on the free childcare 4 times a week while she is working. I did not literally tell her to go pound sand. That is an expression. I told her that was the menu and it will not be changed. But she was welcome to bring her own dish for her family. So yeah, the entitlement, as I've already mentioned, goes crazy here, demanding that she pretty much throw out the food that she's already been preparing, you know, the turkeys, probably some ham, you know, things like that, chicken maybe. Throw that shit out, replace it, all of it, with vegan options is absurd. And the fact that the husband here, her son, is backing his wife up on this is crazy. And I think it is because they are both vegan. And guys, again, I have to preface, I know not all vegans are like this, but the ones that we're talking about nowadays and the ones that we're talking about on Reddit are. They're all like this. And it's truly baffling that so many people in this community that we see on the internet behave this way and they think this way and they think it's okay. But all they do is they alienate and isolate themselves from their own friends and family for this cause, this effectively worthless cause. It's not completely worthless because, you know, the amount of people that are vegan do have an impact as a whole. It's a very small impact, very, very, very close to immeasurable. And you can actually look at statistics and data that show that the amount of vegans that have sprung up over the years has not affected the revenue of like the meat and dairy industry at all. So they are still killing as many cows and chickens and everything as they had been before these people decided to go vegan. So the dent that they've made is extremely negligible. But of course, they convince themselves every night they go to sleep and they're like, oh yes, I am making an impact. When in reality, the only impact they're making is making their own lives worse, and the people around them despise them. All right, final edit. Wow, this really blew up. I have a mini update. I've spoken with my husband and I've told him that I flat out feel unappreciated. I spent days making this meal, and for him, who watched me struggle, to blow it off as nothing was honestly hurtful. I additionally reminded him of the other issues we've had and how informed that I am no longer going to be taking this from her or my son. He is welcome to talk to them if he likes, but I personally am done. I am done being their free labor. I am done being her punching bag and power step. I am done just all around. We talked it a bit more, and he respects my choice and has apologized for his part in this. Next, I told my son that if he wants to continue to try and manipulate me with his grandchildren, that I think it's best we cut contact for a while, because I'm beyond hurt. I've explained my side to him in tears, and it was met with a, I know, but I just told him to stop. He gets free childcare. It's manipulative. He claims he isn't part of it, and it's just his wife, and I know how she is. But I'm realizing that he's actually a huge part of it for enabling. I told him that I'm always there for his children, but that for now, I'd rather not have contact with them unless there's a dire emergency with no other options, or they both apologized. And that includes the consistent free labor. His response was that I am making it difficult because his wife would be upset if he apologized to me. That solidified my decision, and I've cut contact. My daughter is aware of what is happening. She's taken my side on this. Now, there's just this other little bit here That's not about the post exactly, but it says, please do not send me hate DMs about your personal opinion over me not being vegan. You will simply be reported and blocked. I will not be answering. I do not wish to have a conversation with you, especially in DMs, over veganism and whether or not it is better. Please respect that. Thank you. I'm gonna start here with that last thing. Yeah, I'm not surprised that vegans are attacking her. Typical online vegan behavior, not surprised. That they would literally go out of the way, go to the DMs to berate her with, well, you should be vegan, you're not vegan, blah, blah, blah. That's what they do. These types of vegans, these vegans on the internet that behave like this are some of the most annoying, entitled assholes on the freaking planet. It is so irritating to see them behave like this so constantly, so consistently. And for what? The negligible impact that you're having when you attack people. If anything, it's actually a worse impact. You are probably pushing people away from ever becoming vegan because their only experience with vegans has been negative because of people like you. So yeah, people like that shouldn't be doing this. This is why I have this channel. This is why I talk about vegans so much. It's because vegans have really done a lot on the internet to make other people's lives as miserable as possible. And yeah, they're a small minority of people, but these activists and these people on Reddit and all over the place are very loud. They're very vocal. They get their opinions out there, and their attacks are vicious, to say the least. Now, I really do agree with the mother's decision to be steadfast in how she feels and how she was disrespected and how her son, her very own son, was enabling his wife's behavior, and he's trying to make up excuses for himself and for her. And to cut contact is 100% a power move. Most people don't have that level of self-respect and discipline to cut contact with their own family, especially not their own son when they've been mistreated like that. And I cannot express enough how proud I am of this mother for doing that. Like, I'm really impressed. Most people, like I said, would not do this. It'd be really difficult and challenging for them, but it's the correct thing to do. If your own children are going to disrespect you like this and they're grown adults and they'll just make excuses and never apologize, be like, well, she's gonna get upset if I apologize. Well, you have a problem. You both have a problem, and that's something that you two need to work out within each other. You guys are spreading hate, intolerance, narcissism, and you're both so unbelievably vain and egotistical. This is not a good look for your children. This is not a good look for your family. What is happening here is isolation, and they're literally like an island breaking off from the mainland and drifting away quickly from their family. And this happens to so many vegans on the internet. It is a crazy phenomenon that has been occurring over the last decade or so, like viciously. And that's why I feel like a lot of vegans, they also tend to move to areas where they're surrounded by more vegans so that they can actually have friends, because to them, it's like they can't be friends or affiliated with people that aren't vegan, which is really sad and disturbing. It's like, are you serious? Like, you think that your moral agency is that far above, that far ascended beyond everyone else's, that you can't even associate with somebody that doesn't share the same beliefs as you? That is so childish and immature, but it's extremely common too. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider watching some of my other ones. I also have a mystery channel called Curl Gator Mysteries, and there I've covered some pretty crazy vegan activists, including multiple murderers, attempted murder, someone who literally shot up the YouTube headquarters. Like, it's crazy over there. So please consider giving this video on the screen a watch, either one of them, and one of them you might have already seen, maybe you haven't, but go check them out, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Till next time.